Podcast from the coast.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
This 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Have you checked the children?
Welcome everybody to episode 43 of the Cast from the Coast. Woo! My name is Adam Miles, and I have with me, as always, Tim, Santa's little helper, Johnson.
Yes,
Yes, that's a good one. Well, it's
that is a good one.
It's in tune with tonight as well. I mean, you know, 'tis
It
the
makes
season.
me feel a little bit more like official wearing this fucking hat.
You're official, man.
Official.
It's good. How you doing,
Santa's
Tim?
little helper. It's been a roller coaster of a week, like with emotions and stuff. It's been a lot of ups and downs because a certain movie came out
Do tell.
that I was really excited to see.
Mm-hmm.
Really excited, and I saw it.
Okay.
and I liked it, but I left feeling defeated. This
tell.
movie I'm talking about is the newest installment of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and yeah, it's a Star Wars movie. I should be absolutely like going crazy,
Yes, you should.
but I'm not, because my first showing, I was really excited with a lot of the stuff.
Okay.
Because it's a new thing, and you know I don't really want to get into spoilers and stuff. But when I went to go see it a second time, the same day, a lot of the things that bugged me were like right in my face. Like it almost distracted me from the movie.
Ooh.
So I waited 2 days and then saw it again.
Okay. Fair enough.
But this third time, going in with, like, you know, the disappointment was already there, the letdown was already there with certain things about it, because there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good in this movie.
Yeah.
The third time, I enjoyed it for what it was, and I remember talking to my dad years ago about how he felt when he got out of Empire Strikes Back,
Ooh.
and it almost mirrored what I said, because the first thing I said when I left the theater was, I should be really excited, but I feel really defeated. Like I got punched in the nuts or something. It was, I don't know what it was. And then, like I said, I remember what my dad said, but then, you know, that big revelation in Empire Strikes Back with, you know, Luke, I am your father and all that. I'm like, well, how did people respond about that back then? Can you imagine if there was like the internet back then? Like, people would have hated Empire Strikes Back. Think about it.
Oh, it would have been absolutely chastised. There's
I
no
am
doubt
in
about it.
I am in no way, shape, or form comparing the classic, iconic Empire Strikes Back to The Last Jedi. But there are certain themes that I feel are, you know, very similar. But like I said, I saw it 3 times. I do plan to see it one more time while it's still in theaters. I'm gonna wait a couple weeks. I really enjoyed it. Luke was fucking awesome. The special effects were really great. The acting was kind of and there was a lot of scenes that I could have done without. But the ones that were awesome were fucking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what's been my world. I mean, I've done all the normal stuff. I've been watching. I watched the movie that we're talking about tonight. I watched a couple other Christmas horror movies, Christmas movies in general. Just, you know, trying to get my Christmas shopping done on top of like editing these people's pictures from HalCon. These needy people. They pay me all this money. They pay me all this money to work magic, but they don't understand how draining it is on my soul, my very being.
Magic.
Giving it my all.
You are each one of you.
You want to know what set really drained me?
What's that?
This Game of Thrones set I had to do. Fucking just teasing.
Everybody who gets a picture from Tim gets a little piece of Tim with it because he puts piece of Tim with it. Well, that's good. That's good. So we have something important to talk about, though, Tim. This is episode 43, but there's something missing.
Yeah, we don't have a Dave.
Oh, big white fluffy headphones.
Where is Dave?
Where's Dave?
I'll tell
Buggers
you
in
Dave
Florida.
Down in Disneyland or Disney World, whatever one's at Disney World. Disney World's in Florida.
One of those Disney places. I don't give a shit. He's in Florida getting a tan while my ass is in the cold-ass snow. And it is snowing.
Your pasty ass get a tan?
No. No.
Yeah,
I go right from white to red to white. That's what happens with me, man. I'm ginger, just like you. So, it is what it is.
Well, you want to know what? I think we should take this opportunity to maybe add another ginger to the show.
Do you think that's a good idea? That's a lot of ginger, buddy.
You know what? There's never too much ginger.
Okay, so with that, we do have a special guest tonight. So while David is away, we have brought in somebody to be our third commentator on episode 43. Tim, please introduce.
I would like to take this opportunity to introduce a man who I know outside of this podcast, who is one of our who we're very grateful is one of our patrons on Patreon.
Yes. And he does a very good Game of Thrones cosplay, by the way.
He does do a very good Game of Thrones cosplay on top of, like, Chewbacca and Greedo. He does Pondo Baba. Like, yeah. I'd like to introduce everybody to Mr. Josh Lambert.
Yeah!
Hello!
Hello, people of the internet. How you doing, Josh?
Very good. How are you guys?
Good. So for everybody out there, listening and watching and everything else, this is actually the first time that me and Josh have directly spoken too. On Facebook and on the group and all the thank yous that we can give him for being a patron. But Josh and Tim know each other, but this is the first time I've ever spoken with Josh. And Tim calls me up there the other day and he's like, "What are we gonna do with Dave gone? I want to put out." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to put out something too." So. Dave, we're not replacing you. We're just bringing in a special guest.
So it's like, this isn't permanent, right? This isn't permanent. I don't know if the show turns out really good.
Keep that damn attitude up, Dave.
Christmas time, right? You need as many ginger men as you can get.
That's right. The gingerbread men. Or the gingerbeard men. That's right.
Yeah, I like it.
Excellent. So, Josh is a fan of horror. And a fan of the show. Josh, why don't you do the audience a favor? Tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy.
Sure.
You're on the hot seat.
So, yeah, huge horror fan. Huge horror fan ever since I was very young, 5, 10. I remember just watching Child's Play, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. All these movies very young influenced me. And as you can tell, I'm a bit of a collector when it comes to this stuff. So, yeah.
Nice.
Cosplayer. Definitely do cosplay quite a bit. Work a lot with the Hellcon Street team, which is pretty cool.
Excellent. Yeah, we definitely want to do something at Hellcon next year for the Cast from the Coast. So we'd love to definitely show up and wave the banner for the Cast from the Coast, another local entity in the media, and
definitely.
Yeah, so for anybody listening who also attends HalCon, you'll probably see us next year. We'll get a booth or do something.
Let's sign a petition.
Sign a petition. We want to do a panel. I want to do a panel.
No, we'll get a petition going. Like, get these guys. They're really good. I don't know.
Signed Adam and Tim.
We need 10,000 signatures.
10,000 signatures. You should get these guys to appear at HalCon. They're really good. Love Tim and Adam.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Excellent. So we gave Josh the little bit of a heads up. He watched the movie that's going to be here tonight. Have you seen this movie before, Josh, or just now?
Never heard of it, no. But got
Nice.
the heads up, watched her, enjoyed it. Got some things to say.
Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So with that, everybody, though, we do have to take a couple of minutes because some things have changed to our lineup. more than just David and Josh kind of switching places for the temporary time being.
Tim says, fuck it, I'm done with this show.
Tim says, fuck it, I'm done with this show. But here's what really needs to be said. Okay. Originally, we were planning on doing a whole lot of December to Dismember before, David's vacation. We didn't get a chance to do it all, unfortunately. Personal things came up and everything else. But one of the biggest things that threw a damn wrench in everything was because we let a randomizing wheel decide which movies we were going to do this year, because everybody wants to do the classics, and we did Black Christmas and Gremlins and all that shit last year, and I love those movies, but we wanted stuff that was different. So we set the random wheel going, and it landed on a brand new movie that everybody was praising. Tim and I decided to kind of virtual theater watch this and commentate on it together and just kind of chill out and watch it over the internet. And it has given us a reason to demote that movie from being a prime episode to another episode and segment on Rated S for shit!
Shit.
Thank you, Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, 2017 has seen the release of what a lot are considering a new classic in horror Christmas. Better watch out. May I tell you...
For this stupid-ass movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Tim. In reality, the title is fitting for the fact that your ass better watch out for this dumbass movie. Allow me to start, and then, Tim, you can jump in anytime, and Josh, if you've seen this movie, you can definitely say anything, too. So, premise of this movie. It starts as one thing, quickly turns to another thing. We have crass, rude, vulgar, idiotic, poorly acted kids who are 12, almost 13, by the way, as they so deliberately point out in the movie, who talk on a very random scale of everything from which princess from Adventure Time would they fuck and which one they would kill and marry, and it gets very sexual and graphic, and it's just weirdly odd and not even disturbing. It's odd. Just really feels out of place. The dialogue sucks. The acting is terrible. The best part of this movie, two things that were the best part of this entire movie. One was they actually had, what's his face? The guy who plays Joe in Family Guy. Hey, Peter. That guy, right?
That's really good at him.
Thank you. And he appears for like 5 minutes in the movie, and he's like one of the best parts of it, because I know this guy can actually act. Second best part of this, the goddamn Red Ranger shows up. What's terrible? His ass gets killed really quickly. No, also, you don't do that shit to the Red Ranger.
Hey, Chickie from Candyman.
Yeah, okay, fine. I haven't gotten to her yet, but you don't even recognize her ass at first in this movie.
I did.
Well, Tim did, but, that's because Tim's still got a thing for her, but still. Okay, poorly directed, poorly written, poorly done. It had one thing that was a decent kill, which was the Home Alone kill. If you're going to watch it for anything, and this clip is all over the internet, just watch the goddamn clip and leave the rest of the damn movie alone. I can't stress enough that I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore, personally. I'm done. This movie's bullshit. There's nothing really redeeming about this movie. This is almost down to the layer of muck for me. It is a pointless waste of shit and time, and I gotta be honest, I don't know how the hell this movie got made, funded, or anything. If this movie was crowdfunded, I'm sorry, you all got raped. You got raped. And that's all I got to say. Tim, what would you like to say?
The biggest thing that I found with this movie was it did its twist way too early in the film. I think if they would have concentrated on actually playing it up like it is a home invasion, coming up with different ideas and all that kind of stuff, and then like 3/4 of the way through, you find out that it was this sick fucking idiot kid's, idea of, staging it so, he could get the girl to like her. Like, I think that might have saved it a little bit, because that kid was just so cringy. Like, he was just horrible. Mm-hmm. And, like, there was no repercussions at the end. There was no repercussions at the end. She gets carted away after going through all this bullshit, the main girl, and he jumps in bed and pretends he's asleep before his parents get home. Like, I was so angry at this film, Adam, I wanted to punch you in the face.
I know, but it was the wheel that decided, Tim. It was the
but
wheel.
You pushed the button,
and
you put it on the wheel.
I can't say I'm sorry enough. So the only thing that I thought that might redeem this movie was there was something posted on the internet that said this movie has a post-credit scene. And I'm like, ooh, edgy, just like a lot of movies nowadays. What is the fucking Marvel universe now? So I decided to go get the movie, put it back on, and scroll to the end of the credits. You know what the end credit scene was, Tim?
What?
It was the boy in his mother's arms going, I'm really worried about her. Can you take me to the hospital to go to see her? And the mother goes, yes, let's get our coats on. And he looks at the camera and just kind of evilly grins.
Michael Jackson Thrillers it?
Like, basically, it's like Michael Jackson Thriller. It's stupid. Well, Michael Jackson's Thriller's not, but this stupid-ass kid is, so, Okay, so for anybody who gives a shit, I'm going to spoil the movie. I don't give a shit what you say. The twist is, what we're talking about is that it starts, once again, as a home invasion flick. Turns out that the kid is just demented and wishes to kill a bunch of people and try to get the girl to like him. And if she doesn't like him, then he's gonna kill her and blame everything on her ex-boyfriend, who's a little bit psychotic, the Red Ranger, by the way. So, terrible shit. Avoid the movie.
Yeah, do not watch this. Do not watch this movie.
Josh, did you see the movie?
I've never seen it, but it's interesting how movies like
okay,
this,
that's it. You're done talking. No! It's
strange.
I'm sorry. I just got to cut you off because, no, you don't want to see this movie, so. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to yell, but, I get so passionate about shit like this. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this segment for Rated S for shit. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Josh, Tim, and me will be talking about the movie du jour, Rare Exports, A
Christmas Tale.
Yeah! Coming back in a minute, everybody.
Hi everybody, this is Vincent DeSanti, the writer and director of Friday the 13th fan film Never Hike Alone, and you are listening to the great commentary of They Cast from the Coast. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out Never Hike Alone, which is streaming for free on YouTube right now.
It's the most magical time of the year, when traditions are honored and the youngest among us still believe in the spirit of the season.
We found something else than just plain rocks and dirt.
This mountain is like a giant ice box.
For storing what?
Drill deeper. Prepare the dynamite. You have a grave to rob.
Minkälaiset sudet tekee? Hyvä, joo. We have Santa Claus. Selitä sille, että meillä on täällä pukki myytävänä.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. And he doesn't give up. Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us again after that little break that we had here. It is now time for us to discuss the movie of this episode, episode 43 of They Cast from the Coast. This movie is Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. So, this movie was part of what we were actually going to do with the random wheel. However, we just decided, bang, we're just going to friggin' do it because we wanted to put out something really good this year. And this is a movie that I adore and have seen, you know, for the last few years. I watch it every year, and just like Black Christmas and everything else now. And Tim and Josh have never seen this movie. So this was brand new to these two, so I was kind of introducing it to them. And once again, we've talked about this before, this is one of the beauties of the show, is that we can introduce these items to each other and have a fresh perspective on it. So it's great. So I'm going to take an opportunity right now, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the story and the plot. So the movie itself claims to be from the land of the original Santa Claus, Finland. Okay? The movie itself, Rare Export, came out in 2010. Okay? The movie was actually originally created as a bunch of short films, which became viral internet sensations. And I remember seeing these and thinking to myself, these guys have something good. The whole idea of the short films, I'm not going to get into right now. I'll talk to those a little bit later, because if you have not seen the movie, the short films will actually kind of ruin the movie a little bit, because they basically become the main plot point of what happens is the outcome, which is fantastic. But I'll get to that a little bit later. So what happens is, in the depths of the Korventunri something or other Finnish mountains. Okay.
Finnish mountains.
Finnish mountains. That's good.
It doesn't offend anybody. Finnish mountains. Good.
In some of the Finnish mountains, there is an American-based company, Sub-Zero Incorporated, that is drilling and exploding, setting off charges. They are digging into the mountainside for something in particular, something sinister, something with a past, something ancient, as it was. So the only Americans that we actually have in this movie that talk English at all are from the very beginning of this movie, when they're actually talking about what they're accomplishing here. The rest of the movie is subtitled, but please, ladies and gentlemen, do not let that deter you. Much like any other movie that we talk about that's foreign, like I Saw the Devil. You know, how you not gonna enjoy an incredible movie like that just because it's subtitled?
Dead Snow.
Or Dead Snow. Come on, people. Come on. So the whole idea is that it's this little hunting community that lives along the foothills of this mountain, and every year around this time they have a.
What were the name of those mountains?
They are Finnish mountains, random Finnish mountains. I don't know.
Nondescript Finnish mountains.
Nondescript Finnish mountains. But the important thing is what happens at the foothills.
Okay. No.
So there's a hunting village that lives around the foothills of these mountains, and every year they have a culling, so to speak, or a roundup of reindeer, and they basically herd them and use them as slaughter for meat for themselves and to sell across the world as, reindeer meat, and that's how they actually make their money. And it's kind of like a communal situation is what happens. A whole bunch of them get together and perform this and do this. Unfortunately, this year, due to a couple of events that occur, the culling is called off because all the meat has been rotting away after something has gotten to all the reindeer and killed them all, and hence a very nasty evil has been laid upon the town from all of this explosions in the nondescript Finnish mountains. I love the plot of this movie so damn much because it really tries to kind of crawl along the line of, magical versus historical versus, anything else that you can think of when it comes to the tales of Christmas and Santa Claus, old Saint Nick, etc. They really try to take a turn and basically state, and this is flat out, that Santa Claus and Krampus were never two different creatures or characters. They were actually one. Santa Claus punished the bad and gave to the
naughty,
the naughty,
and nice.
Sorry. The nondescript.
Use the correct terminology.
My apologies, Tim. Okay, he punished the naughty. and praised and gave gifts to the nice children of the world, so to speak. So,
well, one thing that I think you should touch on is the plot point of how intelligent the son of one of these Finnish.
Oh yes.
Pietri, I think his name is
Pietri.
Because he's Pietri. He sounds like you're talking Italian. Pietri. How he's the one that did all the research.
Yes. Absolutely. So we'll get into that when we actually get to the characters. But yes, the plot point, a major plot point that Tim was
jumping the gun. I'm sorry.
The main character is a child by the name of Pietri, and he is amazingly played by a child actor by the name of Oni Tamila. And wow, this friggin' kid, man! I'm telling you, if this kid was in major Hollywood, this kid would be a millionaire by now and living the actual life of champions, because this kid is freaking amazing, and I don't know why we don't see him in any more movies. I swear to that. So the whole thing is that something is stalking the children, the naughty children of this nondescript Finnish town under the nondescript Finnish mountain side. So that's the main plot point that we're going to talk about here. Let's talk about characters for a minute. Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about Pietri, because this is,
how old is Pietri?
He's like 12 years old.
12, 11, 12?
Yeah,
like
he's a good 12, unlike the better watch out 12 assholes.
Yeah,
this is a good 12-year-old kid.
This kid is he is son of, give me a sec here.
Rauno. We're just gonna say Rauno. Rauno.
Who is one of the guys that is part of the whole reindeer exports and all that kind of stuff. And while these guys are this American company's blowing shit up, Pietri and his friend overhear what they're actually looking for, which sends this little kid on this
tangent.
Where he becomes obsessed with finding out about everything to do with Santa Claus. He's got all these old books that I wish I owned. The art in these old books was amazing. And he basically takes it upon himself because, he wants to tell his dad, but his dad's obviously really bummed out. Something happened to his wife and Pietri's mother. I don't think it actually said.
It doesn't talk about
yeah, and, obviously the father is really bummed out about it. So, the kid, Pietri, finds out that, his friends are going missing. And, it kind of, spawns from that. What's another character that we can talk about? I don't know how to say his name, but he wore the aviators the whole time.
Oh, Piperinen.
Yeah, he was my favorite character. If I was in this movie, I would be that guy.
You would be Piperinen, yes.
I'd be that guy. Even his beard game was on point. I really enjoyed his character. But that was one of the things I remember when I told Josh what movie we were watching, and he's like, okay, I'll watch it. And then an hour and a half later, he's like, okay, I watched it. And he said, and this was my point that I wanted to bring up, was even though it was subtitled in Finnish, the jokes were awesome. The acting was awesome. It felt like this group of people, it didn't feel like they were acting. It felt like we were a reality show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The humor was really well done. The humor is how it should be in a horror movie.
Absolutely.
For 5 minutes, you see this kid running around in the Finnish winter with no fucking pants on. He's just in his underwear running around, and it's like, what? Yeah, it's great.
It was good.
Yes,
it was good.
Exactly.
I don't know. I want to talk about a certain group of characters, but I don't want to really get to that point in the story yet.
No, we'll save that part till a little bit later. So, Josh, what do you have to say about the characters, if anything?
So, nothing much that you guys haven't already said, really. I mean, the characters, they worked. just as simple as that. Like, I don't watch a whole lot of foreign films, so the subtitles threw me off at first, but it was 5-10 minutes in the film I didn't even realize anymore. I was just, it clicked so well. And great chemistry with the characters, definitely, because I don't know any of their names. I'm not even going to try to... Just
say, like, random Finnish guy one.
Like, when they're... yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, moving on from that just a little bit here. So normally we talk about the characters and the plot point, and next we're just gonna have to talk about the effects in this movie. There is not a lot of effects. There really is not a lot of effects. The majority of the effects that you see in this movie are like dead animal carcasses, right? You know, and if you read through the credits long enough, they're like, we didn't actually kill any animals. This is like a lot of effects work that we just put into this. There was a shit ton of it. The CGI wasn't overused at all, but what they did do was very good for the story, is what I want to say. The final reveal of Santa Claus's creepy-ass nature, as well as the helicopter scenes with the kids in the big net as it's going over the Finnish wildlands.
Over the Finnish mountains.
Over the Finnish nondescript mountains. It was really well done, and the very few actual pieces of gore that were in this film, like the Santa Claus that gets stabbed, and it's bleeding out and stuff. It was very. They didn't use gore or effects to push the story.
No,
it was really a story above anything else, and it
well,
really didn't need anything.
I almost find that, like, it didn't need it because you're emotionally invested in these characters. They shot obviously on location.
Yeah.
So, like, it already had this kind of very inviting, like, just go with the flow, so to speak. And, like, I almost forgot that there should be gore, and it's a horror movie, right?
Yep.
But it didn't need it, and I feel that it benefited that it didn't have it, at least
it helped build the suspense.
Absolutely.
Like it had a very The Thing feel to it. I mean, you're in a desert.
Yes.
No, definitely.
That's the train of thought that I was, and the point that I eventually was going to make was, it felt like a finished version of The Thing.
Definitely.
Right? Except without, because the Thing had, like, revolutionary special effects. But as far as, like, almost this, like, secluded, cut off from the rest of the world kind of vibe to it, like, these people are going to have to deal with this problem and come up with the solution because they're not going to get any help from anybody else. Yeah, I totally dug it. The only problem I had was I wish it was longer.
Yeah. For like the first 45 minutes, I thought like, oh, this movie takes place in like the 50s or the 60s. Yeah. And then they drop the date, and it's like, oh, this is modern time. Okay. Finnish people are just fucked, I guess. Like,
it just goes to show, though. It just goes to show, right?
Are they, though? Or are we fucked?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true.
So, basically what it really comes down to is when we talk about this movie, it's important to talk about, and we're going to have to move to the further plot points. That's why I said I wanted to talk about it a little bit later, is because this movie has a very interesting twist to it. So the characters themselves the characters themselves are introduced to twist. The characters themselves are introduced to, quote unquote, and I'm using my quotes here for anybody who doesn't see, air quotes, Santa Claus. And Santa Claus, very much so, is he senses naughty children. And this kind of brings out an interesting plot point because after all of his reading, Pietri basically goes to his father and says, I need you to hit me. Like, he takes a switch and he's like, Dad, I need you to hit me 5 times ought to do it. And he like starts to whip down his pants and his father's like, what the hell are you doing? No, you're a good kid. Like, why? And it's because he knows something's creeping around. And if it's Santa Claus creeping around, then he's in for it. So once again, like Tim said, his friends are starting to go missing. He realizes he's probably next. Something was looking in through his window one night. He needs to be punished or else he's going to be the next one missing. The kid is friggin' intelligent, and it was well written in that way. Yeah. And
because he came to that conclusion in a very believable kid way.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So then when we actually get introduced to Santa Claus, it's kind of interesting because they think that it's Russian wolves that have kind of crossed into their area that took out all of the reindeer, their stock.
How many did they say? That was like... It was like 400 or something.
It was like 400 carcasses. It came to like $85,000 worth of meat that they basically was rotting in this field. So it was kind of interesting because that character Imo was like really good at math, and they kept looking at him. How much is that worth? How much is this? How much is this? Do this, do that. And he just kind of whip it out and think the thoughts.
Finish Rain Man.
Yeah, finish Rain Man. That's right. Yeah, Imo, the finish Rain Man.
Can we please use finish as a descriptive term for the rest of the show when talking about certain aspects of this movie? Please.
Yes.
Okay. To me, I would appreciate it.
So they get introduced because of the wolves. They set up a trap, and it's basically suspended meat, finished meat, over a cavernous spike pit. And what happens is this Santa Claus character, it's a wolf trap. This Santa Claus character goes after the meat and falls in, injures himself, and they think he's dead, and they're trying to figure out what the hell this is. But he's not dead. He's just injured, but he comes out of it fairly quick and heals very well, like hours. And when Pietri's around, he starts to smell the air, and he's finding that there's a kid in the area. A naughty kid, by the way. And that's kind of where Pietri proves his point, and they start to believe that that's what this is. Now, the very cool part about this is that they're pissed off at the company, Ground Zero Incorporated. They basically are, because they are Frozen Incorporated, whatever. They basically say that their explosions were sending the wolves their way, and the wolves then decimated the herd. So they owe them. And if they were up there digging for this Santa Claus, we have Santa Claus. He's worth at least $85,000 to give us our money back. So they decide to blackmail and hold him as ransom. But then the story takes a very interesting twist, a very Finnish twist, by the way. Because as it comes to find out, spoiler alert, everybody, this isn't Santa Claus. This is one of Santa Claus's helpers.
Little helpers.
Little helpers.
Yeah.
So then we are treated to about 50 naked old men running around in the woods that look like skinny, scrawny Santas. A couple of them are kind of chubby.
You're laughing, but that was one of the creepiest parts of the whole movie.
It damn
How
well
it was shot, and you say they're naked. Yeah, they were naked, but you didn't see that. No. It almost had a zombie vibe. Just how they were. I don't know. It was awesome.
Just at the outskirts of the view, they were just out of focus. Then they're standing, and you can see one's got a pickaxe. Another one's got a shovel. Another one's got a pipe. And they're all kind of standing there looking. And they just look they kind of reminded me of the movie Wreck or Quarantine with the witch character at the end. They're all just kind of sitting there kind of looking, and they're all kind of looking like they need something to eat. You
love using that as a reference.
What?
It's not the first time that you brought up the witch from Wreck.
Because Wreck is awesome and the witch from Wreck is awesome. So, period. So we find out that they are Santa's little helpers.
Calm down. Just
salty tits.
Salty tits. Calm down.
But yes, that's the twist, is that these are actually Santa's little helpers. These aren't Santa Claus. This isn't Santa Claus. And then the reveal a shitstorm happens, is plain and simple, the best way to put it. A shitstorm happens. And Pietri, the child, basically takes it upon himself to take control of the situation. And it turns into an awesome scenario where he's basically stated, once they find the actual Santa Claus, who is encased in ice, and it's this huge, massive ass creature with these long friggin' horns. It's amazing.
Crown's horns, yeah.
All the kids are in sacks, potato sacks, laid about in front of Santa, waiting to be beaten. It's hilarious. Oh, they're waiting for their punishment. And they basically decide to get the kids out of there, to get the elves away from the place, because they were hunting down the kids and bringing them to Santa, and to basically destroy Santa as he's kind of melting and getting out of there. And if Santa comes across, if Santa comes alive and is laid out into the world, he shall cause wreak havoc and destruction and shit like that. So, wow, I've been talking nonstop. That's a mouthful.
You're so passionate about this movie.
I love this movie. So
I don't know about you guys, but my definite favorite scene is they have the Santa Claus like tied up, and he's like dangling, and they're just sitting there passing gingerbread cookies.
Yeah.
That scene killed me. I was like, this is the movie personified right here.
Yeah.
And if you notice, what is the Santa Claus doing? He's staring at the kid, Pietri.
Yeah.
He's dangling, and he's just staring at Pietri the whole time as they're eating gingerbread. It's just fantastic. Yeah. So let's get into a little bit of final thoughts here before I actually talk about the shorts. So I'm going to give this to Josh first. Josh, final thoughts on the movie.
Good. It did the horror exactly how it was supposed to. It did the comedy exactly how it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. All around, for a film I've never seen, I definitely has added it to the collection of every year. It's definitely going to be a repeat viewing for me, I think. The scenes like where he's got the bear trap in the fireplace, and the father goes to look. He's like, "What is this?" And the bear trap claps right down, and Pietri is just sitting there like, "Oh yeah, I put that there to catch Santa," kind of thing.
Yep. It had
the last
great
scene,
scenes. Yeah.
Like Santa Claus training camp. So they're taking these Santas that can bite through a fucking handle, like no problem, and they regenerate and all this, and they're like training to be mall Santas, I guess, and like shipping them out.
I love
they're like immortal, right?
Yeah, and like one of them's like got the head ripped off, and
he's like, "No, bad Santa, bad."
Yep. Tim.
I like Josh, first viewing, really enjoyed it. It's one of those few foreign films where I felt nothing was really lost in translation. Like the tone was there, whether they're saying the exact same things that we're reading. I felt the jokes hit. It was an original story. I really enjoyed it. My only gripe was that it was not long enough. I feel that this movie could have added a little bit more of the creepy Santa creeping around, maybe taking a couple more kids. Maybe all the kids are gone and it's just Pietri left. Like, I wish that they would have fleshed out that stuff a little bit more. And I would have liked a little bit more. I know I said earlier that this movie benefited from not, but I would have liked a little bit more gore. Or at least seeing the creepy Santa, the helper, actually take something. And I think the ending, I would have liked to have seen the real Santa.
The huge, yeah, that was probably my biggest gripe, that I didn't, like, you see, like, the horns kind of sticking out, and you see the ice kind of melting, and it's building up to, like, this big climax that's going to happen where he gets thawed out, and Pietri has some sort of master plan and stops him, and we just don't get to see that. They just blow him up.
Yeah. But, I mean, with all that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought the acting was so good. That kid was so good. Even at the end, like, he almost became, like, the final girl, you know what I mean? And, like, he took shit, like, I loved the scene. I thought it was really, really nice. And it was right before the bear trap scene where he is talking to his dad, and his dad's obviously distraught. He's dealing with the loss of his wife, raising his kid by himself. Yep. He just lost his paycheck, basically, because all the reindeer are dead. And it's Christmas. And, like, the kid's like, are you mad at me? And he's like, no. And, like, the kid's sitting there in full fucking
Full
like,
armor.
you know what I mean? Like he looked like a multicolored Mega Man, you know what I mean? Like it was just he was sitting there and like, you know, as goofy as he looked, like there was this really heart, like I felt bad for him. I felt bad for the kid. I felt bad for the dad. It wasn't just a horror movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot of good drama to it too, and
there was there was heart. There was heart.
There was heart. Yeah. So I definitely agree. And the big thing that I'll talk about this movie is that it does come from a bit of a special place for me, because I couldn't wait to see this movie when I heard about it at first. And like I said earlier, and I'll kind of elaborate on this a little bit, it is in fact based on a couple of shorts that were originally produced by the director of this movie, and some of the actors were actually in it. The guy who played Pietri, so Ani Tamila, Aimo, Piperinen, and Rauno. All these guys were in these shorts. So what it was the shorts were called Rare Exports from the land of the classic and original Santa Claus. And the whole idea is, and they're very hard to find on Facebook or on YouTube now because of the popularity of the movie. It gets drowned out. But basically, it kind of came up as like a commercial for a company called Rare Exports out of Finland, the home of the original Santa Claus. And it's basically they're hunting feral Santa Clauses in this horror movie shit. So they're tranquilizing these feral Santa Clauses. It shows them like running after these naked Santa Clauses in the snow. Pew! Gets one in the ass cheek and it falls down. And then all of a sudden it shows like the training grounds from the end of this movie. It shows that's what they're doing. They're hunting these feral Santas. They're cleaning them up in the showers. And then they're teaching them how to be nice to the little boys and girls. And it obviously shows one of them ripping apart the dummy and they tase him. No! You know, cattle prod and everything else. Bad. And then it shows them shipping them off. And it's talking about the fact that it's their greatest and rarest export from Finland. The mall Santas that we all get all over the world. And this is what they're doing, is they're selling mall Santas because they're immortal. They don't eat, they don't drink, they don't sleep. They just basically love children who are good, but they got to teach them to be good. You know what I mean? And then there was a follow-up one that was like safety instructions. And this played a big part in the movie too, because at one point, when they realize that they found Santa Claus, the dig site operator, the main guy who's like funding it, gives everybody a pamphlet. No cursing, no cursing, no drinking, no smoking. It's like all these rules that if you want to live, you follow these rules. And that was a big part of the safety precaution video that they released afterwards. It started off with like a ship. They sent like Piperin and the guy with the aviators with a rifle because one of the ships didn't make its delivery. So he arrives and he sees like blood and guts everywhere and the Santa's gone. So like the entire crew's been ripped apart. Just a bunch of drunken swearing sailors, and Santa Claus got loose and killed them all. So he's basically hunting down this feral Santa Claus to put it out of its misery or try to retrain it or something like this. And they were just very ingeniously done. And it really played well that they kind of added those little bits into the movie itself. So I love the movie. It is one that I watch every year now, and I can't recommend it enough. So, anything else you guys want to say? No? Okay. With that, everybody, this will, in fact, conclude our December to Dismember. But...
Womp womp.
Womp womp. But that's only because this year was, David hiking out to Florida and leaving us behind to...
We can't blame David. Come
I'd do it if I could too. But, it is what it is. So, with that, everybody, we're going to say goodbye until 2018 when we come back with a whole bunch of fresh new shows, including... the one that we've been talking about. We're perfecting it, so of course it's not going to be released yet. Tim is. Well, Tim is, but, I'm talent on it. I'm perfecting it, too. We've recorded a bunch of episodes, and we're going to be pushing it out. We are going to actually push out Filmgoria, the follow-up / sideshow / other offering from the Misunderstood Art Company and They Cast from the Coast. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe, like, follow us on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube, all that good stuff. And until next time,
Whoa, wait. Or you could be like Josh.
You could be like
and
Josh.
Jump over to our lovely Patreon page, and if you like what we're doing, help us out, because it's going to allow us to do more stuff with our channel.
That's correct. That's correct. So
become a Patreon, like Josh.
So thank you.
You could be on the show. Oh my God!
Open your wallet and your hearts, folks.
That's
Come
right.
on.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
So with that,
All
though,
right, there we go.
thank you, Josh, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you here, buddy. And
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Say goodnight.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Oh, Tim!
Son of a bitch! That's it. Josh is never coming back.
Tim, say goodnight. We gotta go.
Stay jolly, everybody.
Stay jolly, everybody. See you next time, everybody, in 2018. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this week to They Cast from the Coast. We hope you enjoyed the topic and the discussion that we've had tonight. We're very excited about everything that's being produced right now in conjunction with the Misunderstood Art Company. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, say hi in the comments section, and just in general, check out the other content that's being offered, once again, under the Misunderstood Art Company. If you want to listen just to the audio portion of this show itself, we're making it available on iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn on top of the YouTube channel itself. So thank you very much again for your continued support. Check out the rest of the Misunderstood Art Company's offerings. You might even see some familiar faces. And until next time, take it easy.